Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 3rd of December. So looking at the euro dollar, and we've seen this bounce through the Asian session here, maybe on the basis of the news regarding Chinese agreement with the US. Trump said that China's agreed to remove tariffs on car imports and by the sounds of it also purchase additional agricultural products. So on that basis, he's holding back on the tariffs. So we'll see how it runs, but some positive news through there potentially. Anyway, where are we with the euro? Well, it's left a little gap behind it, which is always questionable to me when things do this. It doesn't mean to say they will guaranteed get a fill, but there's certainly a little gap that's sitting there on this 4-hourly chart. And hourly chart, of course, showing the same gap. So just watching this carefully. The bigger trend, of course, on the euro is still on this daily basis on the downside. So watching, as I say, watching carefully to see whether we'll get a break. Now it may be as simple as looking for a break of this trend and that sort of pushing up there, that 60-minute 8 moving average 21. If you can break those sort of levels now. We've already hit the daily pivot, the R1. It's taken away some of the targets I might look at on a normal day. Look for this gap fill if it did start breaking down. So we've got some opportunities to continue. Well, it's always a tight one. It may push up to back towards Friday. Fridays. It was Friday's high actually, or Thursday's highs there. It may push back towards that territory. We'll see. But for now, it's had a half decent run through this Asian session. The pound, well, we've seen a similar surge on this recently. It's a decent bounce off the lows there. There was nothing significant actually. That's what I was looking for, aside of the Trump Chinese talks. Where to? We have got a monthly pivot that might be drawing price up to the upside there. But it was in a real pinched old week last week, and we've almost done, well, we've probably done about 2/3 or for today of that whole move that we saw for the whole week last week. So good surge up at the moment, but there's still lots of questions to be had here for the UK. So I'm taking this almost with a pinch of salt and looking for the potential of almost being on the short side, but need to be patient there at the moment. But it's run through its daily pivot R1 and it's pushed up so far. It's probably done its daily range here, from the absolute lows there. So wary of that at the moment, whether it's got any upside. Dollar yen, more consolidated here, strong in this current session. It's looking like it's sold off a little bit there. It was trying to push up, it's stalled over. Sorry, I'll just go back to that daily. It's stalled over this at the end of end of last week. It was mid last week. It pitched up into the highs there and didn't manage to do much more. It's just consolidated. So that monthly pivot looks like a reasonable target below. Maybe it's just sitting on the weekly pivot at the moment, but if it continues breaking down, that would be at least a near-term target. If it breaks through that sort of area, well, could see a bigger correction. But again, I mean, if you compare what we did last week and what we're doing here, there's quite a chunk of price action. Probably a good third of the price action already happened in one day there. Aussie dollar, one of the biggest gainers last week. Big gap sitting there below us there. It's pitched up there. It's good news, which their biggest trading partner maybe is sufficient to leave this huge gap, but whether it will leave it for long, we'll see. But certainly it will benefit further. It was probably one of the best beneficiaries of the market last week, along with the New Zealand dollar. Big gap at the moment, bit of divergence sitting into this hourly time frame. Whether we see it start rolling, if it starts rolling over, it becomes a target to fill that gap, and I think it's when it starts rolling over is the clue there. Canadian dollar. Let's have a look here. Those reducing oil exports, or production should I say, from the Alberta sands. Now there was a sort of a divergency move leading into this on the dailies from last week. Seeing a bit of a correction here. Maybe that's that movement there last week had, as I said, it got within a stone's throw of the previous highs. Then it's just struggling to hang on to it at the moment. It may have a bigger move from here in terms of correction, with the oil price correcting. That's the biggest thing. It's broken a trend that's running across the lows here through that daily 21 into support around the monthly pivot at the moment. It's actually broken through its weekly there. Actually it missed the weekly there, left a bit of a gap above in the shorter time frames, and these gaps at some point may get filled, but for now the strength seems to be there, and there's no point looking to try and fight these. Do you buy them on or sell them on retracements, these markets? Well, you've got to look at that carefully when it comes to the retracement to see if it's if it shows signs that it's going to push back up in terms of finding a bit of support into some key moving average, etc. Then these become a bit more of a chance to work on the current momentum, but with the gaps behind, they're never great for me. I don't like gaps sitting there because they so often get filled earlier on in the sessions, or pretty soon. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching for, the breakdowns here really. That's it for me. Have a great day. News-wise, sorry, I should say, there's a bit of manufacturing PMI coming out this morning for the UK at 9:30. Then we've got FOMC members speaking. Claruda, he's already spoken last week, but he's due to speak in an interview, and that could create some volatility there at 11:30 this morning, UK time GMT. We've got then Qualls speaking. He's a voting member at the moment as well. So another voting member, and then Williams speaking at 2:15. So 11:31, 2:15. Now these members are pretty key, because we've got, I think in a week or so's time, we've got the next FOMC meeting. So I'll be watching that carefully, what they're saying. At 3 o'clock we got US manufacturing data coming out as well. So and then Brainard speaking later on. Now this is actually getting towards the last of what they're allowed to speak. I think it's before the FOMC meeting. It gets, I can't remember the timings of it, but anyway, another speaker there. So plenty of speakers through the day from the FOMC. Now this could shape up some of the price action for a while. Finally, MPC member Haldane speaking at 5:30 PM. Okay, looking due to speak about macro economic policy experiments in Cambridge. Well, that would be a killer. Don't be worrying about that one at 5:30 then. Have a great day. Bye for now.